When I'm back in the White House, we will use every tool, lever, and authority to get the homeless off our streets. We want to take care of them, but they have to be off our streets. Under my strategy, working with states, we will ban urban camping wherever possible. Violators of these bans will be arrested, but they will be given the option to accept treatment and services if they're willing to be rehabilitated. Many of them don't want that. For those who are just temporarily down on their luck, we will work to help them quickly reintegrate into a normal life. For those who have addictions, substance abuse, and common mental health problems, we will get them into treatment. And for those who are severely mentally ill and deeply disturbed, we will bring them back to mental institutions where they belong, with the goal of reintegrating them back into society once they are well enough to manage.
Jordan, not that Donald Trump should know this, because again, I still think we put too much weight on a president's ability to do everything. But if you say, I'm going to reacclimate people into normal life, we're going to go into rehabilitation centers, then we're going to throw anyone else who has any mental health conditions, we'll throw them into some facility where they belong. Then the next question should always be, okay, how? There's never that answer, because you think this is something he's going to follow up on if he actually gets elected? Do you think he gives a damn about what he just read that someone else wrote as he was stumbling through that? Rehabilitation, reacclimate. He saw something about throwing people into some facility and goes, that's the part he's stuck with, which they belong in. Everything else is just fodder for him. I'm curious what you think.
Yeah, I totally agree. That was my takeaway, because there's no substance here. We don't see Trump as a real detailed policy person. Somebody wrote that out because you kind of have to include it if you're talking about this stuff so you don't seem too callous. But the reality in this, let's just take it at face value. If what he says, if he wins and this is what he's going to do, what that would look like would just be putting homeless people who are temporarily homeless or unhoused, they would just end up in jail. Let's be real about that. Where is the funding for these facilities, for this program, for this care? And do you think a Republican, potentially a Republican House and potentially a Republican Senate would fund anything that would actually work to improve the lives of people? Of course not. It would just go to the corrections industry in this country, the private corrections industry, and you would see people ending up in prisons at potentially record rates. When in reality, what they need is, which he kind of alluded to, but he would never follow through on. We could see that, and based on everything that he has ever done in a political capacity, they would never receive treatment. They would never receive government funding for job training, for rehab, for housing. Are you kidding me? Nope, I can't imagine most people even believe this, but it is kind of incredible that he bothered to say it, because that's just not who he is. I think there's more weight to the, oh, we should go after the death penalty for some of these people than there is on this part of the proposal.
Yeah, I mean, Donald Trump was a well-known teetotaler. So, and then he's also a supremacist. So anybody who doesn't do, or especially if it's something that damages your body the way like alcoholism or drug use does, of course, if he's not one of those folks, he'll see himself as better and be like, garbage people, garbage people, garbage people. He needs to have people in general need to have some level of empathy and understanding where someone came from, what got them in their position. I've said it a million times now. I damn near go to sleep every night watching these interviews that this one guy does on YouTube with folks out in the streets and ask them how they got there, how they survived, what their previous life was. And many times, or their attempts at rehabilitation, their attempts at getting off the drugs and back in some kind of housing. The outside factors that keep them in those positions are stark, and they're not that hard to fix. We just have to want to, and have to put a lot of money to it. Absolutely. Effective money to it, not just to stick in someone's pockets to say they're doing it.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.